I have seen podcasters make this mistake since the beginning of time. They publish a new podcast episode and they want to share about it on social media. So, in this example, I'm going to talk about Instagram, right? They share a story, and then inside of that Instagram story, they link to Apple and then they link to Spotify, right? Even on their own website, they're going to have a link to Apple here and a link to Spotify over here. And they have no idea that they are actively making it that much harder for people to listen to their podcast. There is only one link that you should be sharing, and it's not an Apple link and it's not a Spotify link. And there's actually different options depending on your goals and how your current business is set up and how you wanted to go about it. And so I'm going to show you those ways right now. All right. First up is Podlink. So that's pod.link. I'm going to have a link to them in the description of my video. And by the way, this is not sponsored by Podlink, but I have always loved this website. I use it all the time. And it's just a really easy way to link to your podcast. So that way you're not linking, again, specifically to Apple and specifically to Spotify. And so here's how it works. You want to click this button right here that says search for your podcast. And I'm going to use mine as an example. So I'm going to type in Moms Who Podcast, and then I'm going to hit enter. And here I am right here. So I'm going to select my show. Now, this that you're looking at right now is my show as a whole. And so notice how right here, there's a URL that says pod.link/ a bunch of numbers, right? That is the link to my podcast as a whole. So somebody who lands on this page, they are literally just going to click on whatever podcast platform they listen on. Now, the most popular podcast players out there are Spotify and Apple, right? So most of the time, people are going to be clicking on one of these two things. But here is a list of all different podcast players, right? So they can click on whatever player that they want to. So if I click on Apple here, it is literally going to pull up the web version of Apple because I'm on my desktop. But if I was on my phone, it would pop up on my phone inside of the app. It would not open up in the web browser. And so I could sign in, or I can literally just listen like this, but it's going to take them to Apple. And if they are an Apple user, more than likely they're signed in. And if they're not signed in, they can just like sign in really fast. But you can just play from right here as well. The same thing would happen if they click on Spotify, Downcast, Castro, whatever. It would open up that particular podcast player. Now, here is where it gets super fun, because when you release a new episode, sometimes you don't only want to share your podcast, right, as a whole, but you want to share the actual new episode that was dropped. And so this is my latest podcast episode. And so if I wanted to share that, all I need to do is click this link. It's going to open up to this page here, and then you're going to take this really, really long URL. And I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to press Command and C. And then this is the link that I would post in my Instagram stories. So instead of, again, linking to just Apple and just Spotify, you now have one link. So it's less friction for them to click. And then it's such an easy decision for them to click their own podcast player. Now, that was just one way. I'm going to show you another way, which in actuality, like if we're actually comparing which way is quote unquote better, having your own website and pointing people to your own website is always the best option, because you're literally driving people to your own website. And so they're there for the podcast, but if you are linking them to your website, there's a good chance that they might click on your about page or your services page. And so ultimately getting people to stay on your website is like the best scenario. So the second way that I like to do this is by literally using my podcast host as well as my website. So I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So I use Captivate. If you are new around here, I'm a huge Captivate fan. I love it so much. As you can tell, the dashboard is absolutely stunning, and it's just super easy to use. I do have a video that I will link if you want to check out my video on Captivate, where I go more in depth on why I love them so much. But I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go to Podcast Player. And so this is what my player looks like. I'm not quite sure where this pink came from, so we're going to have to update that. Not sure what happened there because that's not my brain colors, but there we go. I was going to say that was weird. Did you see that? Because that was weird. That was a little weird. But anyway, So this is my embed link, and I'm going to go to static embed, right? And so this is where I can embed a playlist. So this is not a Captivate video, but what you can actually do here is you can create a playlist and you can curate it. So you can like curate a mixture of episodes and create a playlist on that. Lots of things you can do with that. A lead magnet, a private podcast, or you can just create a private podcast on Captivate, period. But what we're here for is the embed code on your website. So if I were to copy this, which I'm not going to because I've already done it, you copy this code and you put it on your website. And so this is my website. So it is pamelakrista.com/podcast, as you can see up here. And then down here, my designer did an amazing job on my website. And so she put a little player down here so I can just scroll and you can still see my banner down here. They can click and they can listen right here, or they can come up here and they can go to latest episodes, and Captivate has all of the episodes listed here. So it just makes it really, really easy for people to listen. So you link them to your website, yourdomain.com/podcast. And then I actually think I'm going to change this because I think I would prefer the latest episodes be first and then the popular episodes be over here, right? So a lot of different ways you can do it. The only thing to be aware of, which actually is a benefit, is that when you release a new episode, you can link them to this page, especially if you have it set up like this, where the newest episode is here. So you can just literally post your Instagram story and say new episode and then link to yourdomain.com/podcast. And then this is going to, it's going to show the date. It's going to show them that, hey, this is a new episode. And so they can listen right here. So the plays go through your podcast host if you do it this way. So this is not counting like Apple plays or Spotify plays. So these plays are solely through Captivate. And then I'm going to show you the last way that you can do things. Now, this way is a little topsy-turvy, complicated, but I just wanted you to know that it is an option. So if you don't really love those really long links that you get from Podlink, right? So going back to Podlink, right? They had that really, really long URL. So I'm going to pull that back up so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So let's say that I want to promote this episode, right? And I have this super long link. And let's say that maybe you want to link this in your YouTube description or even in your podcast show notes because you want to link to another episode. What you can do is you can log into WordPress and you can create a branded link. I call these pretty links. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. All right, so we are inside of my WordPress account, and dang, do I need to get rid of these notifications. Okay, so we're going to go over here on the sidebar to pretty links. Now, this is totally free. I do not pay for pretty links. I've always used this. I just think it's like the coolest tool. So you install it as an extension. And if you don't know how to do that, gosh, do I remember how to do that? I haven't done that in so long. And to do that, you'll actually just click on plugins and then you'll go to add plugin and then you will type in pretty links right over here. And I don't know if it'll show up since I already have it installed, but you will type it in here and it looks like there's an update. So I'm going to go ahead and update that, but you will look for this right here and install that into your WordPress account. So that is how you find that. So to use it, I'm going to go ahead and come up here to the left sidebar. I'm going to click on pretty links. And like I said, this is probably not ideal because this does take just a little bit more time. But what you can do is go to Podlink, search for your podcast, click on episodes, and grab that URL, that super long URL, and then you'll go back to pretty links, add new pretty link. And so this is episode 160. So I can literally just title this MWP episode 160, right? So that way I know what the heck this pretty link is. The target URL is going to be that long link. And then I want the pretty link to be pamelakrista.com/160. You can do this different ways. You can do episode 160 or again, 160. We're just going to do that. And so I'm going to hit publish. And then right here, there is a quick edit, right? So if you want to quickly edit like the title, you can do that. And then you can also click this link and it will open up the actual link in a new window. You can also, as you can see, that you can copy it to clipboard. So I'm going to hit copy to clipboard. And now look at the browser up here. And I'm going to Command V because I'm on a Mac, pamelakrista.com/episode 160. And if I hit return, it is going to take me to episode 160 where I can listen on my preferred player. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you don't link to Apple and Spotify directly any longer. And hopefully, one of these three solutions will be a good fit for you and your podcast and your business. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or if you enjoyed this video so that I can make more videos like this one. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Bye.